The network television premiere of the promoted new era of SmackDown kicked off on July 25 with a loaded card hyped for the show, including Rock and Hogan challenging for the tag titles and Edge vs Jericho in a cage match, in addition to two major debuts with Rey Mysterio's first appearance and televised match in the company and Brock Lesnar's first night as an exclusive SmackDown performer after the jump on Monday, looking to counter the strong first show of the Eric Bischoff regime with a similar viewership boost. After Raw jumped to its highest rating in 3 months for one of the most eventful broadcasts of the year, kicking off with Kurt Angle vs Mark Henry going 3 minutes with Lesnar making his first appearance, laying out Henry in the start of the build-up to the eventual Angle vs Lesnar feud hyped since before Brock made his TV debut, opening SmackDown at the recent normal range with 4.3 million viewers, and with the company last month announcing record revenue for the February to April 2002 quarter driven by the two massive No Way Out and WrestleMania pay-per-views in what can be called the final quarter of the recent boom period. The new reality of the company in the past several months, with the significant drops in almost every aspect of business since May, were made even clearer during the week, with the WWE sending out a press release notifying stockholders that they're re-evaluating the business projections starting in the May to July quarter as compared with the previous record run, noting that attendance, pay-per-view buys and TV ratings are coming in lower than expected for the upcoming quarter ahead of the official report later in the month, which will result in lower than anticipated revenue for the second half of the year, including announcing that the company reduced its operating budget by around $20 million, with one of the several sources of the cuts coming with the shutting down of the company's HWA developmental territory and the release of several of the talent, with JR saying that the company would now focus completely on OVW as the only territory for up-and-coming talent, while announcing that new long-term deals were recently signed with Dave Batista, John Cena and Maven, with SmackDown on the way to the Edge vs Jericho main event, setting up a different strategy to hype the match, with Edge placing a clock on screen set to expire at the end of the broadcast at 10 p.m. to potentially hook viewers for the next 90 minutes. Along with a show-long angle of a major SmackDown name teased to be Kurt Angle potentially jumping to Raw. With the Jericho vs Edge match set to be placed in the final quarter to close the show, SmackDown closed out the first hour with the mega tag match of Rock and Hogan teaming up to challenge for the tag titles for the first time, both coming out to massive ovations from the Indianapolis crowd in the unique situation of the two biggest names in industry history working a rare TV match at 8:45 p.m., as with the company looking to establish the new SmackDown regime with a loaded show just as it did for Raw on Monday. The original plan for the SmackDown broadcast on the night was set to feature The Rock vs Hogan WrestleMania 18 rematch on free television to create a major buzz and accelerate the feel of competition between the brands, with the idea that now each general manager is gonna go all out to top the other to potentially create a worked version of the Raw vs Nitro rivalry, with the match which was set to be announced to viewers for the first time at the start of the broadcast with less than 2 hours of hype, ending up being changed at the TV taping on Tuesday, with Rock, after hearing about the plan to book the match on TV on short notice, pushing creative to change the original script to Rock and Hogan instead teaming up against Christian and Storm for the tag titles, looking to save the rematch of a strong contender to the greatest match in wrestling history at WrestleMania 18 to a future major pay-per-view with proper build-up, after both Hogan and Rock already built it up strong on the Raw after the event on March 18th. With the Rock and Hogan vs Storm and Christian tag match in front of a hot crowd popping huge for Rock and Hogan throughout, going 9 minutes to spike big with over 1.6 million viewers between 8:45 to 9 p.m. to peak the night already in the first hour with over 6.1 million viewers, ending up with Brock Lesnar interfering to lay out Hogan for the DQ finish in presumably the same ending originally set for the Hogan vs Rock singles match, continuing to build to the eventual Rock-Lesnar clash, with Brock, similar to the show closing angle on Monday, bailing out with Rock calling him back to the ring. After weeks of hype with him working pre-show dark matches before the Velocity tapings in the past month, Rey Mysterio made his WWF TV debut placed at the top of the hour quarter against Chavo Guerrero going 6 minutes, with Rey who put on significant weight in preparation to his WWE run compared to the last time he appeared on a major TV show in the final days of WCW in March 2001. Along with bringing back the mask for the first time in over 3 years with the company targeting it as a major merchandise selling item, doing all his trademark spots including debuting the 619 finisher name with Mysterio targeted to be perhaps the top star of the planned SmackDown Cruiserweight division going forward, seeing the Rey vs Chavo debut match going over 2 quarters between 10:10 to 10:20 p.m. doing over 5.8 million viewers in the overall highest rated half hour of the night, with SmackDown after the massive spike for the Rock Hogan tag match being placed already in the first hour, seeing a more steady climb throughout the show with no major growth over the final 60 minutes as compared to the huge contrast of last Thursday that saw almost 2 million viewers added to the broadcast by The Rock vs Angle main event, hovering around the 5.8 million viewers range for the full second hour as compared with 4.8 million between 8 to 9 p.m. resulting in what lately became a rare situation with Raw after a major jump to a near 3-month high viewership on Monday ending up as the most watched show of the week, outdrawing SmackDown between July 22 to 25 with a 5.8 to 5.2 million viewers margin in outside of the unique circumstances of July 4th. The biggest viewership gap between Raw and SmackDown in Raw's favor since late April, with SmackDown's main event cage match of Chris Jericho vs Edge and the feud's blow-off match originally set for the Vengeance pay-per-view. Between the entrances and 2 commercial breaks in the middle going over almost the full final 30 minutes of the broadcast to kick off the match at 9:42 p.m., with the feud originally built around Edge's injury Angle suffered in the Kurt Angle cage match on May 30th. Seeing Edge returning against Jericho to go 14 minutes in another pay-per-view level cage match on television to bump the show to the over 6 million viewers range, closing the first show of the promoted new era of SmackDown with Edge, Mysterio and Cena being hyped as the future of the brand fighting off the Canadian group along with the final payoff of the show-long angle with Eric Bischoff showing up in the parking lot to hype the reveal of the major mystery jump for Raw on Monday.